Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. To begin with, the phrase "in the coming days" has been used by Iraqi officials before. Many have grown accustomed to hearing it when significant changes are on the horizon, but it's essential to understand the context in which it's used today. When the Iraqi government or central bank says "in the coming days," now, it carries a much deeper and more immediate meaning, especially when tied to the ongoing monetary reform. This time, the phrase is different from its past usage, where such declarations were often left hanging without action. Now, it is accompanied by a flood of information being provided to the Iraqi citizens on a daily basis about what is happening with their currency, their economy, and the reforms that are underway. The current wave of communication coming from Iraqi leaders indicates that something is indeed happening right now. In the coming days doesn't seem to be a vague reference to a far-off future event anymore. Instead, it feels like a clear signal that change is imminent, and it's happening at a much faster pace. The daily updates to the citizens indicate that the reforms are not just being planned, but are in the process of being executed. This gives the phrase an entirely new significance. It's worth noting that the Iraqi government and central bank have been educating their citizens extensively about monetary reforms. This education involves explaining the significance of their currency, how the value might shift, and what changes they can expect in their day-to-day financial lives. This kind of education is critical because, in order for a monetary reform to succeed, the population must understand and trust the process. The government cannot simply implement changes without first ensuring that the public is prepared for them. Thus, when "in the coming days" is mentioned in this context, it suggests that the groundwork has already been laid and that the final steps are now being taken to implement these reforms. Additionally, many analysts, including Intel gurus, have pointed out that the frequency and tone of the messaging have changed recently. The government is more transparent than ever, and the information flow has intensified. Citizens are receiving more concrete details than before, which indicates that the monetary reform is moving from theory into practice. This aligns with the interpretation that "in the coming days" now means right now or very soon. The reason this moment feels different is that it's not just the government making promises. They are backing up these statements with action. For example, new banking systems are being introduced, and policies are being adjusted to prepare for the reform. The citizens are being informed step by step about what these changes will look like and how they will benefit from them. This adds credibility to the phrase "in the coming days" because people can see the reforms taking shape in real time. It's not just talk anymore, it's happening. To summarize, when we hear "in the coming days" now, it should be understood as a signal of urgency and immediacy. This is not a phrase being used lightly or as a way to stall for time. With the daily updates and the amount of information being shared, it's clear that Iraq is on the verge of executing these long-anticipated reforms. The phrase "in the coming days" now has a powerful, almost immediate meaning, signaling that significant changes are right around the corner. So, when you hear it now, think of it as very soon, or even now. All signs point to this being a critical moment in Iraq's monetary reform, with actions following close behind the words.